Hello and welcome. I'm Carol DeChaine, and today we're going to talk about how to keep New Year's resolutions. And you may have tried them in many times in the past, or maybe you haven't. But if you don't have someone or something to remind you about the New Year's resolutions, that's the first part of the puzzle. And then there are a couple of other ways on how to make New Year's resolutions that I'm going to be talking about. So, number one is if your New Year's resolution is about something that needs to be done, set a reminder on your phone. Set a reminder to think about it or to do it, whatever it may be, however often you need to do it. Have post it notes if you need to do something to remind you on your mirror or in your car or wherever it is that you need them in order to remember to do something. You can also, of course, have a buddy system where you text each other every day, especially if you're going to be doing something together. You can definitely, like if you're meeting at the gym or going for a walk together, those sorts of things are much easier to have a buddy on. Or perhaps it's something that has to do with paying off a debt or something, and the two of you can remind each other, hey, were you good? Did you not spend money today? If you shop together, you need to be there like, no, no, that doesn't look good on you. Only pick one. Remember, we decided. Whatever it is, be there for each other if you choose a buddy to work with. And don't be mean about it. Just be reminder about it and encourage them and have them encourage you. So have a chat about how you want to set that up, if that's something you want. And then, of course, there's the issue about the type of New Year's resolutions that you choose. Sometimes people choose things that aren't, well, realistic. If you're 80 and you want to be in the NBA, it's maybe not the best New Year's resolution. That kind of a goal isn't really possible when you look at the specifics. If you're 30 or 40, absolutely are horrible at science, but want to be a doctor, that's a surgeon or something, it's not really viable for you necessarily. So you need to look at these and see how realistic they are. If they're 100% fantasy, then maybe you shift what you actually mean by it. If you're a good writer and you really want to be a brain surgeon, maybe you read about a lot of it, you talk to people about it, but then you write a novel that the main character is a brain surgeon. Or maybe it's a mystery, and that's a big part of the mystery. So that you shift your focus but you still feel like you have learned a lot about it and that it becomes something that you love, but it doesn't have to be specifically the way you think the resolution has to be. And if you're 80 and want to be on the NBA, perhaps you find someone who'll let you be courtside. You get courtside tickets. You will have some kind of connection that you can go backstage or backstage. You go into the locker room or something happens where you can find a connection with a person to help you become more connected to the team that you love. Or maybe you just do fantasy leagues and that's something. Or you learn to play video games that have to do with your sport. Whatever it may be, you can adjust what you really, really want with a New Year's resolution. If it seems 100, really, really much 100% fantasy, if you're being real with yourself, into something that isn't, something that can actually be possible. Even if it's a stretch or you don't know how it's going to be possible, that's more likely to happen then. Now, the second type of resolution that we make are just big things. They're possible, but they're really hard to do, so we kind of give up easy. And that one, of course, is the two obvious ones are getting out of debt or or saving for something and with money. And then the other thing is, of course, there's relationships as well. How are we going to do that? And weight, losing a lot of weight. So those are the issues that sometimes we make it really hard on ourselves to keep a resolution because we make them so big. I ask you to look at whatever you want to do. So I'm going to use the weight, for example. If you say, okay, I'm going to lose 30 pounds this year. If you get 3 months into it and you've lost 3 or 4 pounds, if you're lucky, or gained five back, then perhaps you're going to get right away, you're going to feel like, I lost, forget it. But if you can make something a little more realistic, instead of 30, maybe you say, okay, so 24 pounds. I can lose 2 pounds a month. Whoa. Well, that feels doable, right? I mean, I lose 2 pounds in a day, I gain it back the next day sometimes after I eat, but honestly, it feels more doable. Keeping something but if you say 2 pounds a month, 2 pounds a month, just keep looking at it and keep at the smaller goals. Break it down, but still adds up to the same. Maybe you do 2.5 pounds a month. So you're closer to your 30-pound weight loss that you want. Instead of saying, I will go 7 days a week to the gym, does that really feel like you're going to do it? If you already go 5, then maybe you will. But your body needs rest. And maybe you say, these are the specific days I'm going to go to the gym. Maybe I'll go Wednesday and Sunday, or Monday and Friday, or Monday and Thursday. Put it on your calendar. Make it real. Those reminders I mentioned. Make sure you always have clothes with you in your trunk or at the gym if you have a locker so that you can go, because you can't make the excuse to yourself that, oh, I didn't have something with me. And make sure that if you don't go that day, you have an alternative day that you can throw in there so you feel good about yourself. And you don't get to the end of the week and totally give up on your resolution and say, I didn't do it at all, I'm done. Forget it, it didn't work. Find ways for yourself. Really, hype yourself up to do things that you need to do, even if you don't want to do them. Because the point is not whether you kept them or not, but who are you now and what do you want yourself to look like if the resolutions came true? Is it worth the effort? Because if it's worth the effort, if it's really big time worth the effort, then you have that motivation to start working. But honestly, with resolutions, if you don't want to do it and you're just putting it out there, you won't. You have to be ready. You have to be willing and you have to be able to take those steps that you really want to take. New Year's resolutions can be a pain. They can be something that doesn't happen, but you can do it. You just need to remind yourself, have a buddy, make them smaller so that you can really work through them and make them something you're proud of yourself for having done, instead of giving up on yourself and not being so nice to yourself because you think you failed. You haven't. You just need to take that extra step to make sure that you are who you want to be now and at any time. And loving yourself, of course, is the first way, and finding your joy. But that's a whole nother video. Until next time, I'm Carol DeChaine. By all means, please subscribe to my channel if you like what you hear. And if you'd like to hear more about working as a transformational coach, if I can help you at all, intuitive readings, or Marconic multidimensional energy, Connect to Joy is my website. Connect, the number 2, Joy. And there you'll find information on all of that. Until next time, thank you for joining me.